Hello and welcome. In this video, I'd like to talk about the reasons why you need to establish a company in mainland China. And then there are some situations, let's just look at them as well. You might not need a company in mainland China. Instead, you can just establish your presence in Hong Kong and then do business in mainland China. So let's start with mainland China company. Why do you need a company in mainland China? I'm going to count some of the reasons, and if you have such reasons, then it definitely makes sense to start a company here. First of all, obviously, once you have a company in mainland China, then that makes you eligible to apply for mainland China work visa. As we discussed in many videos before, mainland China company can be a tool for you to have a long-term visa, okay, as a company director, not company shareholder. Because I repeated before, company shareholder is not a position. So when you are starting a company there and you are planning to get mainland China visa, work visa, then you need to appoint yourself as a company director or company supervisor or some other position maybe. So that's one advantage. And that is a solid reason, okay? If you have such reason, go ahead and start the company. Number two, very important reason is company in China, company account actually in China enables you to pay in onshore Chinese yuan, okay? Onshore Chinese yuan is the currency in China, okay? That is the fiat currency in China, basically, official currency. So when you establish a company in mainland China, your company can have an onshore Chinese yuan account. That's actually mandatory for every company to have such an account, because in China, tax department or tax account of the company is linked to that Chinese yuan account. So every time your company pays taxes, both corporate and personal income tax for its employees, it will deduct from the Chinese yuan account, right? So having a company in mainland China enables you to do that, to open such an onshore yuan account. Why is it important? Because if, of course, you want to pay to your suppliers using this onshore yuan account, because for people who might not know, there are two types of yuan, right? One is onshore yuan, another one is offshore yuan, Chinese yuan. Offshore yuan, you can have it anywhere outside of China. You can have such offshore yuan accounts in the US as well. In US, in Dubai, in Hong Kong, Singapore, any place that lets you open such accounts, basically. For example, there is a platform that everybody uses nowadays, which is called Wise, right? Wise account. It's a platform. It's a fintech company. So when you open an account on Wise, you can have a yuan account. But maybe most people don't know that this yuan account is not similar to the yuan account that you have inside China. Because inside China, like I said, it's onshore yuan account. That is like active currency used, and the rates are obviously different. And you have offshore account in Hong Kong, for example, through Wise or through, I don't know, other fintech platforms. That is still treated as foreign currency. Yes, it is yuan. The name is yuan still, but it's still, used outside of China. So when you open such an account and make a payment to your suppliers, according to the Chinese legislation, that is still considered as foreign income to the supplier. Therefore, the export rights of the product will remain with the supplier, okay? So again, if you don't have experience in this field, it might sound a little bit confusing, but still, that's the situation here. When you want to use your Chinese company, your own brand, to export, let's say, this cup, for example, made in China cup, right? So you source it from China, and you want to have Chinese company, your own Chinese company, export this cup, then you need to buy this from the supplier using onshore yuan. This is the supplier here, right? And this is your company here. Your company in China must pay using this onshore yuan to your supplier. And then your supplier obviously is going to give you something called, in Chinese, it's called fapiao. Fapiao is invoice, basically. So it's a special, it's printed on a special paper, transparent paper. So you get that and then you make a payment, right? So then this cup transferred to you. You are the owner of this product now in China. Now you can use your company to export it, right, outside of China. Maybe putting your own label or, putting your own packaging under your own brand. But let's go back to the earlier scenario. If you pay your supplier using your Hong Kong offshore yuan account, according to the legislation here, your supplier can receive offshore yuan, like from abroad, right? But it's considered foreign income. So therefore, this exporting right of this cup will remain with the supplier. Your company in mainland China cannot get involved in exporting process. So that is the law. That is the policy here. This cup cannot be transferred to your local company unless you pay in onshore yuan to the supplier in China. I hope this makes sense, right? So that is the situation. You need to really consider if this is something that you want to do, then you need to open a company here in mainland China with its onshore yuan account. We can help, obviously. So next, the situation that you might need a company in China is mainland employees, obviously. If you want to have China mainland employees, you want to hire staff here, you want to hire team here, irrespective if you want to bring some foreigners or local, it doesn't matter. You need to have a company in China. Your Hong Kong company or Singapore company cannot hire staff legally inside China. So that is one reason, okay? And of course, if you have a company in mainland China, that company can sponsor foreign employees' visas. Your Hong Kong company or Singapore company cannot do that, simply because Hong Kong and Singapore, these are separate jurisdictions, right? Next, very important reason is opening stores on local Chinese e-com platforms. For example, Taobao, JD.com, Tmall, Tmall.com, 1688, and also Alibaba, what else? AliExpress. All of these platforms, also mobile platforms nowadays. We have opened recently so many stores on, for example, Red Little Book, a very famous mobile platform. And also Douyin, like the Chinese version of TikTok, WeChat store. All of these massive e-com platforms, they require a mainland company. You cannot use your foreign company to open official accounts or official stores on these platforms in China. Last but not least, very important, legal base. Having a legal base in China makes it much easier to resolve any kinds of legal issues, potential legal issues. So if you have a company, mainland company in China, then let's assume down the road some factory creates some issue for you because of this cup. Once again, they provide you this cup, right? And you have a team in Shanghai, for example. Your team receives it because FOB Shanghai, the supplier sends the whole truck, right, to your Shanghai warehouse. So now you receive it, quality check it, and you find some issues. Now you have very solid legal base in mainland China, and you can easily resolve this problem. And when signing an agreement, you will sign Chinese agreement. showing the dispute resolution place, for example, Shanghai arbitration. It's much easier, to be honest. Really, we have so many cases every week, actually, we receive from different countries where the company is located in Central Asia, for example, where I come from, Uzbekistan. And this factory takes advantage of the company. They don't send the goods, or they send the goods. The goods go, land, right? They are open, the container is open. They find, for example, a lot of issues with the quality of the product. Now, because of the international situation here, two countries involved, and also the time difference, or the difference in legal aspects, always there's a problem to resolve the issues here, because the Uzbekistan side, they need to hire a lawyer in mainland China, and then this lawyer is going to charge a lot because there is foreign element in the case. The whole process takes a lot of time. One simple case, actually, it's a very simple scenario, but it takes so many months because Chinese lawyer will ask the foreign company to translate the documents, or actually, write a lawyer's letter, and then this Chinese lawyer, we will take it to the court, and the court is going to ask to apostille it, here notarize it, etc., etc. Different aspects, so many different aspects. So, but when you have a company in China, you can easily go to, first of all, actually, before hiring any lawyer, because you have the same rights as any other Chinese company, you can contact the local government departments, first of all, in order to try to solve this problem. Okay, there's like a trade department, for example, or local government you can try to contact, and you can actually sometimes get free legal assistance because you have a mainland China company. That's how it works, okay? And if you have a team here, that's going to make it much, much easier for you. So you can consider, these are some of the very important elements that you need to consider, okay, before actually deciding if you need a company in mainland China or you don't. Now, let's go to Hong Kong, okay? So let's assume you don't need, okay, all of that I counted above. Now, if that's the situation, we recommend establishing your company in Hong Kong, because Hong Kong, first of all, it's a special administrative region of China, and there's a lot of number of agreements between Hong Kong and China. It makes it so much easier for you to establish a company if you are working with mainland China, instead of having your base in Singapore or Japan or Korea, etc., because these are, first of all, different countries, and second, the proximity as well. It's a little bit, far. So let's consider Hong Kong company. First of all, no tax for foreign income. Hong Kong tax policy is very straightforward, basically. If the income comes from outside of Hong Kong, then it's not subject to Hong Kong taxes. Obviously, if the income is from within Hong Kong, then it's subject to Hong Kong taxes. Okay, so corporate tax is 16.5%. Now, next thing is, no, you don't have to hire an accountant until the company becomes 18 months. You have to do the bookkeeping yourself. You can use any software, and you can keep the records there, okay? But until the company becomes 18 months, you don't have to really file for taxes. So once the company becomes 18 months, you will receive a letter from the Inland Revenue, the tax department of Hong Kong, then your company should start filing. Next, very important, no office is required. Hong Kong, it's a very standard situation that you don't really need to have an office, okay? It's very common. Actually, rarely do companies rent an office or buy an office because Hong Kong is a financial hub. First of all, they use this region for company establishment because of taxes, because of proximity to China and special agreements, etc. So it's legal to have the registered address of the company, and nobody is going to ask you to have a physical office. So that's very important. Next thing you need to consider is, still, we talked about this offshore yuan account, right? So Hong Kong is one of the common places to have such an account. If you have a Hong Kong company, then you can have offshore yuan account. Still, it's might be the rate might be slightly different, but still it's yuan. So depending on your supplier's needs and requirements, you can pay using this offshore yuan to your supplier in mainland China. Okay, because sometimes they might ask you to pay in yuan. Okay, whether it's local yuan or offshore yuan. Obviously, if you have a Hong Kong company, the only solution you have here is the offshore yuan. And with Hong Kong company, actually, there's, it's been a few years now. Mainland banks are opening non-resident accounts for Hong Kong companies as well. These are called NRA account, okay? Non-resident account, basically, NRA. So NRA accounts are possible in most of the Chinese banks nowadays, but they open such accounts, NRA accounts, mostly for Hong Kong companies. Of course, we have opened for Dubai company or Singapore companies, but with the Hong Kong company, opening this non-resident NRA account is much easier, okay, in mainland China. With the NRA account, you can still have different currencies, but that creates a little bit of trust, to be honest. Why do people open NRA account is basically that, to have this mainland China account so that they avoid future potential problems with the suppliers. Very easy, because this NRA account, they are opened using traditional bank accounts. I'm not going to name them here because of the potential legal problems, but all of these traditional bank accounts in mainland China, they open non-resident bank accounts for Hong Kong companies. Okay, you can have yuan account there. Still, that is a foreign offshore yuan account, and also USD account. And you can also have Hong Kong dollar account as well. But the difference between fintech companies and traditional bank account obviously much secure. Okay, if anything happens with payments, millions of dollars, you can fly to China, meet your banker face to face. That's the difference. Okay, with the different fintech accounts you can open from distance, this fintech company might disappear anytime, right? But with traditional bank accounts, you have the security at least. All right, so that's why a lot of Hong Kong companies now, they're opening NRA accounts in mainland China. Next very important reason is Hong Kong actually can be a temporary base for your company if you are entering the Chinese market step by step. For example, you have never worked with mainland China before, but you would like to build your brand for this cup, for example, okay, or kitchen products, I don't know. And Hong Kong can be a good base actually because its proximity, because of special agreements with mainland China, and also a lot of advantages that I counted here, NRA account, etc., etc. So in the first couple of years, you basically pay to your supplier using your Hong Kong company with this NRA account, or your account in Hong Kong in offshore Chinese yuan, and then step by step you can start registering your subsidiary of the same Hong Kong company. Your Hong Kong company can be the parent company, can remain as your base, but now you can keep the Hong Kong company as a kind of management company. I discussed the advantages in previous videos. Having such a structure will enable you actually take out all the earnings from the Chinese subsidiary back to Hong Kong. Basically, that makes it much easier to have control, over your money. Because, if your China company doesn't have any parent company, let's say you are the individual owner in China, then repatriating the money is going to be a little bit problematic and costly. But instead of that, you can have your Hong Kong company, the same company that you started as a base, and then slowly, gradually open your subsidiary in China, and where Hong Kong will be your parent management company, so to speak. And then it can build a subsidiary company from time to time, monthly, quarterly, etc., annually, for the management fees. Then the subsidiary company in mainland China can pay the parent company. This way, I think it's a very practical situation. Actually, this is the most common structure that our clients use. And of course, we mentioned and we talked about Hong Kong's reputation before, so this can be another reason. Instead of, when we are considering doing business with China or in China, Hong Kong is automatically comes to the picture. Okay, so when you are doing business with China, then the reputation in your potential client's eyes or in your potential supplier's eyes, the reputation of Hong Kong is much higher than other jurisdictions. Simple as that. You can have your company in Nigeria, for example. Maybe that's your existing company. But if you put that side by side with the Hong Kong company, the reputation for your clients, actually, that this is where it makes difference. The reputation of Hong Kong is much higher because, again, put yourself in the shoes of your potential clients, right? So if a Hong Kong company sells them this cup, branded cup, they naturally, psychologically, they naturally incline towards the Hong Kong company, okay? And of course, your suppliers as well. Instead of using your Nigerian company or South African company, you can use your Hong Kong company to deal with your suppliers because it's proximity, because of the lot of special agreements, and of course because the possibility of opening NRA accounts in mainland China for your company. So you see, these are different reasons. Specifically, I counted 6 reasons to have a Chinese company, and then 6 reasons to have a Hong Kong company. If you want to go for both, the better, actually. We can help you establish both companies and then link them together. Okay, so give us a call, send us an email, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.